This is part 2 in a 2-part series on what is definition. If you haven't yet watched part 1, please pause the video here, watch part 1, and then return to this video. In the last video, we discussed the 3 elements of a good definition. The first one is term, then the class, and then the things that separate that term from any other thing in its class. So this is a particular thesis statement that we looked in the last video. Love is a feeling that grabs hold of your heart and will never let it go. So in this case, love is the term, feeling is the class, and the following phrase, it grabs hold of your heart and will never let it go, describes how it's different from any other particular feeling. There are a number of different strategies that you can use to continue to help a person understand a term. First, you can share how it works, what it does, how it differs from similar things. You can give some examples of it, and you can also share what it's not. Sometimes negation, that's what we refer to as what it is not. Negation can be a stronger tool than explaining a foreign object to somebody who's never seen it. So if we return to this thesis statement that love is a feeling that grabs hold of your heart and will never let it go, we might want to think of some different examples of when this might be true to help the reader understand what we mean. The first example is Kim and Cricket Carpenter. Cricket Carpenter was in an accident, suffered a head injury, was in a coma for months, and when she awoke, she didn't remember her husband Kim. She thought he was an ex-boyfriend. Even though Cricket didn't want anything to do with Kim and even moved back in with her parents, Kim still loved Cricket and did not stop trying to woo her despite her reluctance. Eventually, Kim won Cricket over and they reunited. The next example is fairly short. It's of Christina Kallstrom. So Christina Kallstrom, when she was 40, she died in Tennessee in a fire after rescuing her 3 children. So again, you show how strong the power of love is. Our last example is Heidi, Rick, and Daniel Solomon. Heidi and Rick adopted Daniel from a Russian orphanage when he was 7 years old. After about a year, Daniel turned violent and would hit and kick anything or anyone in his way. He once even held a knife at Heidi's throat. Instead of sending Daniel back to Russia, as some families had in similar situations, Heidi homeschooled Daniel and began attachment parenting, a strategy where mother and son were less than 3 feet apart for more than 8 weeks. Now an adult, Daniel was able to graduate from high school and now credits his mom with his success. So hopefully you see that these are all 3 good examples if you want to really define love in a way that grabs hold of somebody's heart and doesn't let it go. Again, you might define love in a different way, and so you'll find your own separate examples that will help support your own particular claim. Now it's your turn. I want you to try and think of 3 to 5 examples that define your version of exploration. You might go ahead and use some of the articles that we've read in class, or Packing for Mars, perhaps there's an example in there that would help you, or go ahead and look at the syllabus. There are I think 12, 15 different explorers in there that you can go ahead and look at their stories and perhaps use those examples to define your version of exploration. So I hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing you next in class.